Diana Rodriguez, and we have quite the active activity going on right now for parts of the TV6 viewing area. So here's a look at a severe weather update, and as of right now we are looking at this tornado warning that's in effect here for Bureau in Henry County, and this is going to be in effect here until 9:45 p.m. here tonight. As you can see, it is under a PTSD, so again, it kind of is going to be seeming like someone has observed a tornado. Again, this did kind of rapidly intensify here over the last 15 minutes. We did have a severe thunderstorm warning here as well. And of course, I'm going to take a dive deep into what's going on here right now. You can see we have that tornado warning in effect here, like I mentioned, here for counties, Bureau and Henry County. So if you are in that location right now, you do have to take your safe spot right now. You can see that most of the viewing area right now is starting to see a lot of those storms start to fire up. This does seem like it's right now producing a lot of hail, over 1 inch in diameter. So again, some pretty big hail there. Let's kind of dive to see what we've got going on. Let's see. Trying to set up on my end. There's also a severe thunderstorm watch here, and it does seem like it's producing a lot of lightning as well, some pretty heavy rain along with that. Here's a look at the current going on. Sorry, I'm trying to get everything here on my end behind the scenes. We've got going, trying to get all this set up. So again, if you are in that location right now, Bureau in Henry County, you do want to take precautions right now, as we are dealing right now with a severe thunderstorm warning along with a tornado warning. If I wanted to see what we've got going on here as far as a tornado warning here, there we go, now it's loading. So right now it does seem like it says a damaging tornado and half dollar-sized hail. Right now it does seem like weather spotters have confirmed this tornado, flying debris also. So again, we do want you to start taking your precautions. This is moving here northeast, so you can kind of see it's kind of moving a little bit on the slower end at 25 miles per hour. So this is kind of what we're seeing right now as far as our end, and of course we also have that severe thunderstorm warning that we saw. But as of now, this tornado warning, which is what we're keeping a very close eye on, is going to be in effect until 9:45 p.m. here tonight. So kind of see it's starting to move really slow, and it's kind of taking that pattern as it's kind of headed here towards the east, towards Princeton. So right now, if you are in these locations, I'm trying to take a closer look. If you are in Sheffield and Buda, you do need to start taking precaution. You guys are in that tornado warning right now, along with Mineral. So if you're in those locations right now, you need to seek shelter. Let's see what we've got going on here. Now it does seem like this was a tornado observed. Of course, I'm also looking here with the National Weather Service here on my end, and they do said radar indicated. So of course we don't have a confirmation right now as far as a tornado being on ground as of right now, but this is being something that we're taking a look at that is being radar indicated coming from the National Weather Service. So we do have a tornado possible that we are trying to see, but of course this is going to be in effect until 9:45 p.m. So if you are joining us here tonight, this tornado warning is for East Central Henry County in northwestern Illinois, West Central Bureau County in north central Illinois as well, with that hazard being that damaging tornado. This is being more radar indicated. That's what we're seeing here as far as that, but it does seem like some trained weather spotters have also given indications of that possibly being near Sheffield, the Neponset and Mineral around 9:05 p.m. here tonight and 9:10 p.m. as of right now. So that is where they're trying to see some of that rotation, of course, but I'm going to kind of take another look at see what we've got going on right now behind the scenes. Let's see what we've got going on. We are starting to also track some other development here behind that system as well. You can see it's also producing a lot of hail and a lot of lightning. You kind of start to see that rotation there. Oh, let me take a look at this here on my end. Let's see. Yeah, so as of right now, it does seem right now like it's producing some pretty heavy hail, or some pretty large hail, excuse me, over 1 inch in diameter, in effect until 9:45 here for Bureau and Henry County. Lots of heavy rain there. See, let's take a look at this past velocity. So you can kind of see, trying to see a little bit of rotation there just south of Mineral, kind of where I'm trying to see where they kind of spotted that here for part of the viewing area. So if you are in that location south of Anawan, you do want to take your shelter right now. That is where we do have a tornado warning. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. A severe thunderstorm warning is going to be in effect until 10 p.m. But of course, we are keeping a very close eye on that tornado warning as of now. That will be in effect here until 9:45 p.m. here tonight. So that is what we're going to be tracking, of course. A lot of this does seem to be strengthening. It was producing half-dollar size hail, some pretty heavy rain, and a lot of lightning as well. But right now we're starting to see some of that little rotation like I showed here shortly. And this seems to be moving east at 25 miles per hour, so not moving that fast, and of course, which is why we're going to have that tornado warning, in effect here until 9:45 p.m. here tonight. So we're also keeping an eye on this activity that's going on here just to north and west of Kewaunee that could kind of start to maybe intensify, especially as it's moving east, and we're also going to keep an eye on other parts here of the TV6 viewing area. But for right now, that is where we're kind of very concerned about, as we are seeing some indications of a tornado that could have been observed. I am seeing, let's see, some more updates here with the National Weather Service, and they are saying, again, tornado radar indicated. Not really seeing many updates as of now, but it is moving fairly slow here. So we do have to see, this is under a particularly dangerous situation, so you do want to take cover now. Of course, sun has already set. It is pretty dark out there. Could be dealing with nocturnal tornadoes. Of course, like I mentioned, this is radar indicated, so you do want to take your home shelters now, of course, as we are dealing with that particularly dangerous situation tag, which is something that we normally don't ever see here across the viewing area. So this tornado warning, again, like I mentioned, in effect here for East Central Henry County in northwestern Illinois and West Central Bureau County in north central Illinois as well. So we've got that tornado warning, and we've also had that severe thunderstorm warning. That severe thunderstorm warning was for that half-dollar size hail and strong damaging wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour. Some of these were producing a lot of lightning as well. But I think one of the main concerns, not just a considered tornado that could be possible, but also that pretty large hail. So it does seem like it's at 1 inch in diameter, of course, but not really seeing any signs of this starting to weaken. You can kind of see here on base velocity where that warning is at. You can kind of see if you are in the, let's see, mineral area, around that location, that is where we're kind of starting to see maybe a little bit of rotation signs of a potential circulation there for a potential tornado, and even over here by north of Buda. So again, if you are in that area, if you are under that tornado warning, you want to take that serious, take your shelter, whether that's in a home interior of your home or in the basement, of course. We want you to be safe. Have a way to receive any weather updates. You can continue to watch this even through stream. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's raining really heavily there, and I mean a lot of lightning, and well, of course, I can't believe the amount of winds that are also going on there. But right now we are looking at that for it to be considered, you know, particularly dangerous situation, which is what it is labeled at right now. So I don't want to show you this again. As it's looping, it's not moving very fast, but you can kind of see within that storm moving at 25 miles per hour. It does seem to be moving northeast there. You can see kind of that gray there. That is all that hail core, and also some of that lightning that's also moving with it. Some pretty heavy rain, and of course, a tornado that could possibly be something considered that, of course, radar was what is picking up on. So right now, I kind of mentioned those two locations that could possibly be one of those where you definitely want to start to take shelter. So an extremely dangerous tornado was located. That's, of course, radar indicated, which is what we're seeing here through our through the back end here with the National Weather Service, who we think for, who we work with here when it comes to severe weather. But they are saying that was something that was observed, again, from a radar. And let's see what else they've got going on here. Okay, a dangerous tornado was located over Johnson Sauk Trail State Park, or 7 miles north of Kewaunee, moving at 20 miles per hour. So again, they are saying that there could be right now a tornado on the ground, so you definitely want to take that shelter if you are, of course, in that area. So right now, if you are in East Central Henry County in northwestern Illinois, or in West Central Bureau County in north central Illinois, you want to take shelter right now. There could be a potential tornado on the ground, and of course, we want you and everybody to be safe, whether that's, you know, grab all your loved ones, head downstairs to the basement or the most interior spot of your home, of course. You can continue to keep us here streaming, and we'll continue to keep you up to date here. If you have the KWQC First Alert Weather app, and we'll kind of continue to keep you up to date, of course, if you do happen to lose any power. Again, this does seem like it as of, let's see, we've got this warning is until 9:45, and as of 9:10, A large and extremely dangerous tornado was located over Johnson Stock Trail State Park, or 7 miles north of Kewaunee, moving east at 20 miles per hour. This is a particularly dangerous situation, so you do want to take cover now. Let's see what else we've got going on. This is the most updates that we've got here from the National Weather Service. So let's kind of start to see if we're starting to see a little bit of this start to diminish a little bit. And it does kind of start to seem like we're starting to lose a little bit of that intensity there. Kind of see as it's starting to kind of shift and move out of that red box, which is, of course, that's tornado warning, which is labeled there. But we have to keep a very close eye on that, of course, if we start to see a little bit more development. Now, with some of these storms, of course, we did have a lot of sunlight earlier. We were pretty clear here for some hometowns. We have that heat, that humidity, and those winds. I mean, that's kind of like the prime spot. And when we're dealing with these kinds of storms, especially during the nighttime, sometimes, yes, they'll start to fire up and then they do start to lose their strength, especially as we're kind of getting into those later hours. So right now, north of Buda, if you are located in Buda, it does seem like we're seeing a little bit of that green, a little bit of the red as well. That right there is a good indication where maybe we could be seeing some of that. Again, radar did indicate a tornado possible on the ground. I mean, we do have that particularly dangerous situation tagged to it, so that's something we normally never really see. So of course we'll have to keep a very close eye on. We're trying to see if we're seeing any signs of this beginning to weaken, and I'm not necessarily starting to see that here quite yet, but of course is moving fairly slowly, so we'll have to keep a very close eye on that. And of course, if you're joining us now, we are tracking a tornado warning here that's in effect for Bureau and Henry County. This is going to be in effect here until 9:45 here on our Sunday. Hail right now that is being indicated over an inch in diameter, and it is under a particularly dangerous situation threat. So of course, let's see, I'm trying to see if we have any other updates here from the National Weather Service here behind the scenes, and let's see. I'm not really seeing anything just yet, of course. But we're also keeping an eye on that severe thunderstorm warning as well. That severe thunderstorm warning does seem to be a little bit more on the bigger side, but of course that is still for Bureau and Henry County. So fortunately, you guys do have a lot of activity going on right now, and we can see that's very evident there as we do have a tornado warning also within that box. So that severe thunderstorm warning is going to be in effect until 10 p.m. here tonight due to $half size hail and, well, some pretty strong winds as well. So right now we have a tornado warning that's now going to be just for Bureau County. So it does seem like it got updated there. And that is going to be in effect here until 9:45 here tonight. So a lot of it is starting to update here, of course, within the next couple of minutes. But we're not necessarily starting to see a whole lot with it, and it starting to die down a little bit. So we'll have to continue to keep a very close eye on that. But of course, if you are located right now in Bureau County, you definitely want to take shelter now. We don't have that particularly dangerous situation tag like we did here earlier, of course, but we do have to kind of continue to monitor that and see if we're starting to lose any of that strength. So it does look like now we are starting to see some signs where this is kind of starting to die down a little bit, which that's some good news, but you still want to stay in your shelter and your home spot, of course. We do want you to be safe. We are starting to see, though, a little bit of improvement, but of course we're still going to continue that tornado warning until 9:45 here tonight. So we no longer have that particularly dangerous situation tag on it, but like I mentioned, we do have to keep a very close eye on that. Of course, a lot will continue to change as the system continues to move. It does seem like it's starting to lose a little bit of some strength, and hopefully we kind of continue that trend. I know it's already getting pretty late here tonight, and I'm sure a lot of people don't want to be dealing with some severe weather or us having to cut in, of course, with a current show going on, but we want everybody to be safe. So let's see, as of 9:20, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Mineral, or 11 miles northeast of Kewaunee, moving east at 20 miles per hour. So we're already starting to see a little bit of it's starting to lose a little bit of that strength here as it's moving to the east. So it's moving fairly slowly, and I do kind of consider, I wouldn't be surprised if it does kind of start to lose a little bit of its strength as it continues to move to the east. Right now producing quarter-size hail, of course. So regardless, if you are in that area, if you are in Bureau County, you want to start taking shelter now for West Central Bureau County. So if you're in West Central Bureau County right now, you do want to take shelter. that is where we currently have a tornado warning now. Earlier it was for Henry County, of course, but now just for Bureau. This is going to be in effect here until 9:45. So we still have 20 minutes more to go. We are starting to see signs of it starting to die down just a little bit. It is producing quarter-size hail, some pretty heavy rain. I wouldn't be surprised along with that lightning as well. Radar indicated rotation. We'll definitely have to confirm to see if there was a tornado according to the other warning that we had when we had that warning here for Henry and Bureau County. That kind of was radar indicated, and we did have that particularly dangerous situation tag. But luckily we don't have that here longer, so we'll have to check in here with the National Weather Service and see what they've got going on, or if they have any updates here for us. Trying to check and see, they don't have any updates as of right now, but of course as soon as we have confirmation if there was a tornado on the ground, we'll definitely let you guys know. But as of right now, we'll just have to keep an eye on radar, of course, as we are dealing with a tornado warning. So if you're joining us here tonight, we were dealing with a tornado warning that was under a particularly dangerous situation tag here for Henry County and Bureau County, but now we're going to be dealing with just this tornado warning for Bureau County, especially if you are west central Bureau County. This is going to be in effect until 9:45. We'll have to look at this activity going on here south of Atkinson for maybe some strengthening there. It does seem like it's just a typical cluster of thunderstorms there that could be bringing pretty heavy rain, but we're also looking at this severe thunderstorm warning that's within that tornado warning. So that severe thunderstorm warning is going to be until 10 p.m. here tonight, but that tornado warning until 9:45. We'll have to keep an eye on here, kind of looking at the big picture of what we've got going on here across the entire TV6 viewing area, and it does seem like we're pretty quiet here overall. We actually do have a severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect here until 4 a.m. So regardless, if you're not in Bureau County or in Henry County, you do want to be weather aware, have a way to receive any weather updates before you go to bed tonight. But if you're in Bureau County, Central Bureau County, excuse me, you need to be taking shelter right now. Radar indicated the potential for some rotation for a possible tornado. We're no longer under a particularly dangerous situation like we were here 10 minutes ago, but now we're starting to see a little bit of improvement, and it does seem like this is starting to die down here just a little bit. So let's kind of take a look at there. Yep. So yeah, we are definitely starting to see this kind of start to die down here in Central Bureau County, which is good. We like to see that, of course, but we still kind of have to wait for that to begin to expire. We're not seeing anything. We'll have to keep an eye on this cluster of storm that developed there south of, let's see where we got going on here, to the south of Atkinson, excuse me. That is where we're going to have to keep a close eye for maybe the potential of some development, of course, or we can maybe see a severe thunderstorm warning or possibly a tornado. I feel like that would be kind of pushing it there, but of course we'll have to keep an eye on that. But for now, if you are in Central Bureau County, that is where we're starting to see that. You can also see some of that lightning there to the south, and obviously all of that hail. You can kind of see that hail core right there, that gray. That is all that hail that's coming down within that storm, which is why we do have that. So $half size hail is what we were looking at before. Now it's kind of starting to lose its strength, and we're not seeing a lot of lightning like we were here earlier. We are also seeing another tornado warning here with this other cluster that's kind of starting to develop here south of Princeton. So if you are in Bureau County, you want to start taking shelter. Now, of course, we do have a tornado warning, and of course we're going to continue to keep you up to date here. So if you are joining us at 9:25 p.m., we're tracking some strong to severe storms and also several tornado warnings that we've gotten here over the last 30 minutes. So we're going to continue with that tornado warning here in Central Bureau County. This is going to continue here until 9:45 p.m. Let me go ahead and put a timing on that. Yeah, that's going to continue until 9:45 p.m. For a potential rotation. We're no longer under a particularly dangerous situation. So this is until 9:45 p.m. If you are in that location, you definitely want to start taking, you need to be taking shelter now. If you're in Bureau and Putnam counties, excuse me, we do have a tornado warning until 10:15 here p.m. So although it's not necessarily right there in our TV6 viewing area, part of it is, and we still want everybody to be safe. So if you are in that location, you need to be taking shelter now. It is producing winds of up to 60 miles per hour. So this is going to be in effect until 10:15, and then we also have that severe thunderstorm warning for the other cluster of cells that are also starting to develop there around that tornado warning. That's dealing with some pretty strong winds there, up to 60 miles per hour. And let's see what else. Oh no, there we go. We got that going. a tornado possible tag as well. So it does seem like they're going to put a tornado possible tag there on that severe thunderstorm warning, as of course that tornado warning is within that severe thunderstorm warning. So that's going to be there until 10 p.m. But of course they're going to continue to extend that if needed, and we're starting to see a lot of development. So if you are in Bureau County, and of course you need to be taking shelter now, and if you're planning on heading to bed, have ways to receive updates, as we're going to continue to keep an eye on these systems as they're continuing to strengthen here. Let's take a look at Henry County, Illinois right now, what we've got going on there south of Atkinson. We are starting to see some of those storms kind of start to strengthen there a little bit. It does seem like it's producing lots of lightning and some pretty heavy rain as well. We'll have to keep an eye on that for potentially becoming a severe thunderstorm warning, of course. Let me check in with the National Weather Service, and yes, we already talked. They did issue the tornado warning, here for Bureau and Putnam County. This is going to be, so southeastern Bureau County and north central Illinois. If you are in that area, need to take shelter now. This is going to be in effect here until 10:15. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, it is moving east at 30 miles per hour. So unfortunately, these cells are not moving fast, and they're going to be continuing to move east, but I do believe that they'll begin to lose a little bit of some strength here as we get into the next couple of hours. Of course, we've got sorry, we got Eric, or
we
sorry,
got both Eric and
Vince.
Kyle here right now.
You did a great job, Deanna.
Thank you so much, guys, for coming.
Yeah,
in. I
and
appreciate
absolutely.
you.
And so, we got those 2 tornado warnings. Oh, Eric, you're getting those pulled up right now. I do want to mention what prompted this tornado emergency. It's a rare deal. We don't see those often, but there was actually confirmed reports here, not only from spotters, but somebody that's a nationally known spotter here. He had live video of a wedge tornado that was in western Bureau County. So that's what prompted that tornado warning. Now a new tornado warning issued. Eric, this one that had this large wedge tornado here in western Bureau County, eastern Henry County, really weakening pretty quickly here.
Yeah, as we can see on radar, there's what's left of it, and it's got a heavy rain core right on top of Interstate 80. But relatively speaking, this is not looking at very much right now. This tornado warning, as you can see, along north mostly and a little south of I-80 in western Bureau County. There's Buda right there. Probably their Highway 40 is pretty close by. That goes till 9:45, and we're already at about 9:30 right now, so just another 15 minutes. Latest radar scan shows that this whole complex is weakening pretty quickly, but there's our new tornado warning, and it does include extreme southeast portions of Bureau County, south of Princeton, south of Depew, and south and east of Tuscarawas. So we're kind of on the northern fringe of this storm right here, and as you can see, there's the border of Bureau County right there. It does not include much of Bureau County, just that southeast stretch. And this is kind of like we were dealing with the other night, just a very slim portion of the TV6 viewing area. But as we move things along here, we're going to see this storm get out of the county pretty quickly, although this warning, which goes, I think, until, was it 10:45? 10:15, okay. This is just going to scour the southeast corner there of Bureau County. Not much inside the TV6 viewing area. And right now I can see that most of this storm is out of the TV6 viewing area, but it's this storm right here which was producing the tornado that we were seeing from our spotter. As Kyle was just mentioning, now we're back down to just a severe thunderstorm warning here, and this goes till 10 p.m. So this is only for about the next half hour or so. And Kyle now has more info on both of these systems right now back at the desk. Kyle?
Yeah, just real quick here, Eric, I want to mention, because I know we do have some viewers down here. This is a little bit outside the viewing area, but it is going to hit Bureau Junction, Hennepin. That is, and actually, I will tell you this, and what's a little bit concerning with this is this signature right here is a lot more defined than the signature that we saw in the tornado that we actually know there was a large tornado with. So if you're in Hennepin, you need to be in shelter right now. If you know anybody in Hennepin, Bureau Junction, Depew, possibly, if that continues on its current path, and of course, Eric, Spring Valley, Dalzell is going to be in the path of that. So that's going to be the area of concern. I want to go back up because the good news is that warning there for western Bureau County. It looks like the whole thing has been canceled. That's including the severe thunderstorm warning. What we saw moments, let's see, I can actually look here because I know they've already pinned a storm report, and you can see right here is exactly where the tornado touchdown was reported here, just to the west of, here's Anawan, so just southwest of Anawan here, southwest of Mineral here. Looks like it was along County Highway 14 here, and I believe that is, what route is that there? That runs Route 70. Is that 78? Yes, Route 78 here. So 78 and County Highway 14 is where that tornado was confirmed. And again, there was video evidence of a large wedge tornado plus multiple vortices. So that's that. But again, Eric, that area rotation might get into some southeastern Bureau County communities, including Depew, Bureau Junction, Spring Valley. You need to be taking shelter right now along with Hennepin.
Yeah, and right now it's just about out of the TV6 viewing area officially, but if you're near Granville, there's a rotation right there. And as Kyle was mentioning, we've got two rotations very prominent here on the radar between Cedar Point and Granville. There's a rotation right over Granville. And then again, just southern end of Hennepin here and just south of Hennepin, there you can see, what are we talking about? Again, we talk about when we're looking at the circulation as is labeled here, we've got the reds and the greens. Greens mean wind toward the radar site. That's going back toward the Quad Cities. And red means away from the radar site. So there you go. You've got that counterclockwise circulation just south of Hennepin and moving thankfully away from Bureau County, but doesn't do the folks in, I believe that's Putnam County, very much good. And then, of course, this circulation here on the way from Granville now to Cedar Point in our last radar scan. Again, there you would see the indications of that counterclockwise circulation. In terms of the radar itself, it's really not that big of a deal in western Bureau County, where we've had that storm turn over to a severe thunderstorm warning versus a tornado warning. But there you can see, not a big issue in terms of what we're looking at in portions of the area just southeast of Bureau County. We've got a new tornado warning now, and this one is going to be in Henry County, so we'll zoom in on this one. And as you can see, this does render some issues for folks in eastern Henry County, Illinois, moving into Bureau County, Illinois. There's the storm just south of Atkinson. We'll zoom in a little bit more, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at the circulation that's involved with the storm. A little bit of a hook echo there. It seems to be trying to form, and we'll show that more prominently right there. And there you can see certainly showing up as a hook echo, so our reflectivity and our velocities will show that there's maybe down toward base, because this is a little closer to the radar site right now. And yeah, there you can see it right there. We've got some circulation that's moving due east south of Highway 6 and Interstate 80 into eastern Henry County, and that's going to be on the way to Bureau County within the next few minutes. Kyle?
Yeah, just had a viewer send in that they are seeing a low rotating wall cloud developing and lowering south of Atkinson at this time along Highway 14. So just sent that to the National Weather Service literally as they were issuing this tornado warning. So they were seeing it on radar. And that's, you noted this too, Eric. What's very interesting about this, and it kind of shows us how radar works here. The rotation is in the very low levels of the radar beam and at the low levels of the cloud base. The radar's a little bit further away here, so we're shooting a little bit further up. Doesn't look that impressive, but we've got confirmation here, numerous reports of not only this now rotating wall cloud, but that tornado earlier that was at one point a confirmed large and wedge tornado. So we're going to be, news team is going to be on that, trying to check in on information if there was any damage. Certainly if there is a wedge tornado, there probably was damage. And I know, Chandler, do you have some information on that?
Yeah, at 9:15, the emergency management director for Henry County said there's no substantial structural damage.
That's good.
Reported no injuries have occurred as a result of the warm
Okay.
storm in both Stark, Mercer, and Henry County.
Good deal. So just to reiterate what Chandler shared there is emergency management officials saying no injuries were reported, no extensive structural damage. So good news there, but now we've got another one that we're tracking here, Eric.
Yeah, let's take a look at where this one is going to go. And again, we're looking at eastern Henry County, Illinois, on the way to Bureau County as this system is moving due east, and you can see by the warning box there. Mineral 948, 952 in Aponsit, Sheffield by about 955. So we're looking at within about the next 20 minutes here as this storm is moving. We're estimating at about 40 miles per hour. But take a look at these times if you're in these cities and really subtract about at least 5 minutes just if you're in the path of the storm. Take shelter right now, because we certainly do have some rotation here right about there. That is just due south of Atkinson, Illinois. There's Interstate 80, and that's the CO and Geneseo right there. And then we've got the eastern edge of Bureau County, or I should say Henry County here, and the western western edge of Bureau County, and that's exactly where this storm is moving. As we take a look at the radar itself, I mean, it doesn't look that impressive in terms of a thunderstorm, but there you see it, and at the back end we've got that little hook, which is now thankfully not as prominent as it was just on the last couple of radar scans. And as we put that hook echo there, which is where our circulation happens to be, and you saw that pretty clearly on the velocity product where we had the green and red next together. That's right where the tornado would be, and I'm going to zoom down to street level here so we can give you an idea of just the area that we're talking, and it was south of Atkinson, Illinois. So as we get a little bit closer, there you see we're looking at, I'm going to go back to this monitor here because I don't want to miss anything. County Highway 5, County Highway 14, that warning just moved a little bit east, at least the western edge shaved off of it. 2200th Street, 1550th Avenue, and that's where we're looking in eastern Bureau County. Kyle?
Yeah, just real quick, I want to talk about kind of something that we just mentioned, Eric. We're keeping in close contact with the National Weather Service. They're talking about this storm, and as we're seeing here, we've shown storms here move through the metro, for example, and we've seen some pretty bright colors, the bright greens and reds. They're noting that we're not seeing that here very well with the current radar situation, but based off of not only observations, we've got, again, had spotters out here. There certainly is spin in the atmosphere. We noted that earlier today, too. And I will say, too, that's something actually this morning Teresa and I were looking at. The significant tornado parameter is high right now along the I-80 corridor. And that's going to be a little bit elevated here, at least through 11 o'clock. So any storms that develop might have that potential. But right now, the one thing, Eric, that they did say with these is kind of probably what we're seeing here is they're not going to be the most long-lived tornado. If they do develop, they're going to be shorter lived. So we're not looking at a long track damaging tornado most likely, but we could see some drop down here and there. And I think earlier that one might have been an anomaly that we saw with that large wedge tornado, but right now it is more of a deal where we're just kind of picking up some of these rotations here, and they're warning for those.
Yeah, and that's where we're back to eastern Henry County here. And take a look at some of these streets. There's County Highway 14, 1550th Avenue. As we look over here, 1800th Avenue. And yeah, these are almost, you're really right about anomaly. These are like pulse thunderstorms after sunset. These are popping up quickly. There's a little bit of rotation, and then they kind of fall apart quickly. Here's the latest scan. You just saw that update, but we still do have rotation here, at least the signature of rotation. And this is at the low level of the storm. I mean, there you see it on the label here, storm base wind. So this is pretty close to the ground, but we're still getting some rotation. And again, the green, if you follow these pixels back all the way, these go to the radar site at the Quad Cities National Weather Service. So there's air moving toward the radar site, air moving away from the radar site in red. So when you get that green, there you go. At 2000th Street, at least on this radar scan, 2000th Street and County Highway 14, that is right where that rotation is. But this has already been on the screen for a few moments here. So you move that east down County Highway 14, and we're probably looking at some of these cross streets to the east of County Highway 6 there, which is where we're seeing the rotation now as we continue to have this tornado warning. And as we go back to what we're looking at in terms of a time frame here with this tornado warning, it is for Henry County. Eastern Henry County has not been pushed into Bureau County yet, but this goes till 10:15 this evening. And along with that, not only torrential rain, but we could see hail up to about 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Anything else there, Kyle?
I'm looking here, not really at this point. Looking at just some of the reports that have come in. And again, want to reiterate, we did have at one point here a large wedge tornado on the ground. That's why we cut in. We cut in for tornado warnings. We do have 2 active tornado warnings at this time, but that was the whole reason for jumping on. So I know some folks asking about programming. We've got tornado warnings. We will stay on with those until those warnings are expired. We have a lot of viewers out in this area that we certainly are keeping a close eye on. So here we go. Again, I do want to mention, Eric, with that storm in southeastern Bureau County, there is a circulation that is riding that Putnam County, Bureau County border. Right now, it's just to the east of Bureau Junction. So Bureau Junction, we probably call it clear for you now. But Depew up towards Spring Valley. Spring Valley's over here, right here. And that's going to, if that kind of continues that line, it's going to move it right into Spring Valley. You are included under this tornado warning, so you need to take your tornado precautions. Of course, get to a basement. If you don't have a basement. You can get into the center part of your house. Closet or bathroom is good. No windows. If you're in a trailer or mobile home, if you've got some time, because these aren't really fast-moving storms. So if you're in Spring Valley, you've got time to move to a more substantial shelter and take shelter. But we'll continue to watch that, Eric, as that moves into Spring Valley and Dalzell, then eventually out of our viewing area.
Yeah, and as far as that tornado warning is concerned in eastern Henry County, there's the circulation. We've timed that out. We go to 9:54 for an ETA in Mineral. Again, take about 5 minutes off of these times, if you will, to take shelter. Neponset at 9:58, 10:01 Sheffield, Bureau Valley at 10:02. More information from meteorologist Deanna Rodriguez over in the Weather Center. Deanna.
Yeah, Eric. So I've been kind of keeping an eye on what's going on Facebook since we're also streaming out there. And a lot of people are wondering, is this going to be for the entire TV6 viewing area? I know right now we do have 2 tornado warnings, that one that we're keeping an eye on right now in Henry County and also the one in Bureau in Putnam County. So as of now, taking a bigger look, you can kind of see we're pretty quiet here. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch for just about the entire TV6 viewing area that's going to be in effect here until 4 a.m. Now, one thing to note, these systems are kind of starting to develop. They are moving very slow, so they will start to kind of lose their strength here within the next couple of hours as we're going to get through the overnight hours. So we'll have to keep a very close eye on. Right now, it does seem like a lot of that activity is off to the east.
Yeah, and I do, before we go back to Kyle, I just want to point out, here's our convective outlook, our severe thunderstorm risk that we often talk about. It's just a level 1 here in the yellow, but in the orange, that is a level 2. That is where the storms are firing up. But I would think that this is kind of the back edge of our instability. So everything here that forms just east of the Mississippi, moving east, will eventually take this out of our viewing area within the next couple of hours, if not sooner. Kyle?
Yeah, I'm just looking back here at this storm, really focused on the storm that moved through a little bit ago here that prompted that what we call a PDS tornado warning or tornado emergency. Very rare. The last time we had one was Lena, Illinois tornado, for example, and then prior to that was the June 3rd, 2025 Metro tornado that went through Moline. And so that just shows you they're not something that are issued very common. It's a pretty rare deal. So this was what it looked like here earlier, and it was a very notable circulation. This is much more defined. It moved right over County Highway 14 over Illinois 78 here. Looks like it moved over rural areas, but I was looking briefly, Eric, as that was doing it, and it does look like there was a little bit of a fan of some debris. So likely it could be some stalks from a cornfield or trees. We're hearing that there were no there are no reports of structural damage, which is great news. Most importantly, no reports of any injuries. So that's what we like to hear with that. But right now, kind of going into the present, the circulation that is here, we did have a viewer reporting a lowering and a rotating wall cloud here in this area, probably about 10 minutes ago, I think it was. And it's still broad. There is a little bit of a circulation here. Interestingly enough, one thing that the Weather Service is noting is that out here, and it is true, there's a lot of wind farms or windmills out here. Big wind farm is out here. And you might notice some speckling going on with the radar. That's actually those wind mills getting picked up here. So they've had a little bit of a difficult time trying to pick up some of these rotations because of that. But right now, the circulation in Henry County, not as defined. The one in Bureau County, too, I think it is a little bit weaker, but still threatens the Spring Valley area. Not really seeing much of anything, Eric. It was a little bit stronger as it was down into Putnam County, but now that it's kind of exiting just into that little corner there of Bureau County, it does look like it is a little bit weaker than what it was just moments ago. You can see that was right there. And I'll move it a couple frames here, and essentially it's kind of gone. So that's good news for southeastern Bureau County.
Yeah, that is the good news. I mean, they're popping up quickly. That's the bad news, but the good news is that they are dying out fairly quickly as well. Still a little bit of a circulation that we can see right there in eastern Henry County, heading to western Bureau County. There's Interstate 80 in the red, Geneseo. We're south of Atkinson and the Anawan area there. But as we move this out to the east, Neponset about 10 o'clock is when this circulation would reach your neck of the woods. Sheffield by about 10:03, 10:04 Bureau Valley. So we're already into, of course, deep into Bureau County at that point. But again, as we always say, look at these times because this is the radar estimate based on the speed of the storm. But give yourself an extra 5 minutes. I mean, subtract at least 5 minutes from these times so you can get in shelter as this part of the storm moves over your area. And again, again, here's the Bureau County line right here. This will be jumping over it shortly. If it remains a circulation, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, as you can see, this is the tornado warning box right here, the parallelogram, as we say. And as we have this moving out to the east at about 40 miles per hour, so you see that the Weather Service did end this particular warning at the Bureau County line. Now, they've been watching these storms, and as Kyle has pointed out, and we've been saying, they've popped up and they've diminished in strength very quickly. So as this continues to move east, maybe by the time it hits Bureau County, it's not that much more than a thunderstorm. And we've seen this. As a matter of fact, I'll show you this on radar as we look at these storms here. Yeah, there's not much more than maybe what's left of a little hook echo right there. And I'll stop this and make it more prominent. The hook echo is what we look for where the circulation happens to be. And yes, there's definitely a little bit of a hook echo left, but it's nothing like a classic hook echo. Looking at the velocities or the rotation, we do know that circulation is still there. So again, if you're south of Anawan, north of Kewaunee, in that area right there, eastern Henry County, on the way to western Bureau County, do make sure you're ready to take shelter. I would say if you're in eastern Henry County, take shelter now. If you're in western Bureau County, just hang on with us, because this warning might not get extended, because again, it looks like this storm is starting to show signs of weakening, but we're not saying it's not a tornadic system at this point. We just have to kind of wait and see. And as we put this into motion, what you'll see is this continues to move through the warning box itself. This is continuing through portions of eastern Henry County on the way to Bureau County. And not only that, but we do have some at least small hail north and northwest of Kewaunee. Kyle?
Yeah, we continue to watch that storm. I'm joined with Deanna Rodriguez over here. And Eric, something you got to see here too. We just looked at some video. You just showed some video of that tornado. So we're now getting an idea of what it looked like. And this is what happened earlier with what prompted that tornado, PDS tornado warning.
Yeah, and that's something that we usually don't see when we have that particularly dangerous situation tag. Yeah. When I saw that, I was like, no way. This, because
we kind of all felt that way.
Yeah, it was a severe thunderstorm warning, and I mean, it was producing half-dollar size hail and winds of up to 60 miles per hour, and then that just quickly intensified. And then that is when we had that tornado warning, that tag. It didn't even go through red. It went straight to that particularly dangerous situation. And yeah, I was receiving a picture here on Facebook, and I also saw that it was like a big cone tornado. So it's crazy to see, and I mean, I'm sure we're definitely going to see a lot of updates on that when the National Weather Service heads out tomorrow. Yeah. But it's just like that. When it's nighttime, I feel like it's a little difficult to be able to kind of see.
Absolutely, it's very difficult. And the thing to note too, we are working to get permission to show that.
Yes.
It's not our video, so we can't show it to you. But hey, once we get some permission here, we're going to make sure that we can share those visuals. I can just tell you this: there were nationally known storm chasers that were here and caught that. So I'm sure there's going to be some pretty. They're probably going to want some money for that video, but
yes, and we can confirm we saw.
Yeah, but we saw some of that, and Eric. It was, I mean, interestingly enough, something that, we knew we could see tornadoes, large wedge tornadoes, weren't really in the cards, but it can happen when you get these types of setups today.
Yeah, and we are under the severe thunderstorm watch, but then all of a sudden we start getting tornadic thunderstorms. And I just want to point out that just again, as we were talking a little bit earlier about the fact that it looks like most of the instability is off to our east, now we've got this monster storm just north of Bureau County. If you're just to the south and east of Dixon, there's a storm there. You might be seeing the lightning from it, but there's a large hail core, which means an updraft, and that's why within that severe thunderstorm warning now there's a new tornado warning. Of course, that does not include the TV6 viewing area, and I know we've got viewers in Dixon, Illinois, which we thank you for, but this is off to your south and east and not really part of the a portion of the TV6 viewing area, but still the tornado warning just outside of Bureau County. I don't think if you're in Bureau County you can need to worry about that, but you just saw a second or two ago that warning for the tornado in eastern Henry County has just been shaved off a little bit. We'll get back to radar here, and then we'll zoom in so you can see exactly what we're dealing with still the storm of concern here in portions of eastern Henry County. And there you go, the warning till 10:15. By the way, we're at 9:51 here in the Quad Cities and here at TV6, and we're still monitoring this one as far as looking for one of the basic things we look for on radar, the hook echo. It's not that prominent anymore, so it would indicate that the storm is weakening a little bit, but there is a back edge to the storm. Let me get this more in a viewable area for you as we take a look here at where we're looking at that circulation, which still might be there. Before I go back to Kyle, let's just put on the base winds here. And it's really starting to not be so discernible, but there is a little peak of air that's going away from the radar site, and to look at anything that's going toward the radar site, which would indicate a circulation not as prominent right now. Kyle?
Yeah, you know, just looking at this, Eric, this is so interesting. Deanna and I were just looking at this. The storm that produced that tornado right here, it went from a tornado-producing storm to absolutely nothing in 2 or 3 scans. Yep. But here's something that, this is why this time of year, it becomes so difficult to pinpoint exactly where we expect storms to develop. Here's why. That storm collapsed, probably let out a gush of some cool, rain-cooled air, and it sparked this now tornado-warned storm. Look how fast that fired up.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. This storm out here is holding its own and actually is growing in strength here. That's now moving into southwestern Bureau County. So we do continue with that tornado warning until 10:15. So another 20 minutes or so. But I think by that time, Deanna, it'll probably be into Bureau County. We'll have to see.
If it starts to die, it's kind of starting to show a little bit of indication of starting to die down,
Yeah,
but
that
we kind of have to
just
see what's
collapsed.
going on. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, it's but yeah, that was pretty interesting, Eric. Without
No,
that
yeah,
just
you're right. I mean, you're right.
went away in 2 scans.
And that's a great job of showing that. I mean, we had heavy rain to nothing more than now, what is just a cloud there. And then what came out of that in terms of that rush of wind, that storm that they did have the tornado warning for, which is now over. We still have till 10:15 if it lasts until 10:15, and that's still another 22 minutes or so. This tornado warning in eastern Henry County, you know, I think if the Weather Service was going to extend this into Bureau County, they already would have done it by now. But just to give you a little indication again of what we've got going on in terms of what's left to come, not much, because again, this is all east of the Mississippi. We've got some storms down in southern Knox County, south and southeast Knox County. That's going to be out of our viewing area shortly. I'm not too concerned about those, but I will take a closer look in just a moment. So we still have our tornado warning till 10:15 for eastern portions of Henry County, Illinois, and then that will move into Bureau County. But if these things are all weakening at this point, then you don't have too much to worry about. But if you are in the western half of Bureau County, especially along and south of Interstate 80, I would still pay attention because your weather could deteriorate. Now, as I do go closer into Knox County here, oops, I hit the wrong button there. Let's back this over to Knox. This might take me a while. And I'm going to come out here because I don't want to move through too much real estate, but there we go. Yeah, I'm going to come over and get that storm in southern Knox County. Again, this is Knox County, Illinois, and this is taking me too long, so we're just going to go home here and then zoom in on it one more time. I know, isn't this technology wonderful, folks? I do the best that I can, but here we go. There's our zoom in on the storm that's working its way down I-74 toward Peoria. That's just north of Mequon. And as we take a look then at what's going on with this storm in terms of spin, yeah, a little bit of spin right there, and that's what I was worried about. Again, these pop up so quickly that they do have a little rotation. So northwest of Mequon, Abingdon, well to the northeast, south of I-74, well southeast of Galesburg, and southeast of Knoxville. But maybe that's something that the Weather Service is looking at pretty closely there in Knox County. So if you're south of I-74, central to eastern Knox County, you're the next who need to probably take shelter. Kyle?
Yeah, we're going to continue to watch that. That's something that we were also keeping a very close eye on here. But I do have some good news. So we're going to talk about, we'll get back to that storm. I know, Eric, you're looking at it very closely. But that tornado warning that was in effect for southeastern Bureau County has been canceled. So it was to go to 10:15, but that has been canceled. And right now, there is still circulation for those folks. I know, again, this is totally a fringe area, just like Lee County, Illinois is. But Hennepin, Granville, we've got people that do live out there that watch us, and that circulation is now about to cross, I'd say, into the Cedar Point area into LaSalle County here, just southwest of LaSalle, where there's a very strong circulation there now, just to the northeast of LaSalle, looks like. So we'll be watching that. But back to our current tornado warning, the only tornado warning we do currently have at this time, although we're watching that storm in Knox County. It is showing some signs here of strengthening. This has weakened pretty tremendously. I'm not, I mean, we talked about how it looked like it was strengthening with a little bit of a hail core, and that's the deal with these. They collapse so dang quick, and you could, and as the Weather Service, Eric had mentioned too, they said it's going to be kind of a short-lived deal here where you might get 1 or 2 scans, which equates to about 5 minutes, where you've got something looking pretty nasty, and then next scan, like we just saw there, there's really nothing that indicates a circulation, for me at least right now, here in Henry County.
Yeah, that's right. So we look at the next storm in the line, or the loop, and this is the one in Knox County that's showing some circulation. No warnings out for this one yet. I say that now, yet. But as we move from central Knox County to the east, we've got Haw Creek, Elba Center, Brimfield in the path of this storm. And there you can see on the map there's New Creek, or Haw Creek, I'm sorry. That's at 10:01, so really just another 3 to 4 minutes or so. And this continues to move east like the rest of our storms. We go back to radar to show you what that storm looks like just on its own. And again, you're looking at maybe a little bit of circulation trying to form on the back end of that storm north of Mequon. And look at that, there you go. Right as I'm talking about it, tornado warning for Knox County until 10:45. This will not last till 10:45, maybe till about 10:30, because there's the next 15 minutes between 10:30 and 10:45 out of our viewing area. But for now, we now do have that tornado warning. Updraft is notable because now we've got a hail core trying to form. So again, this is a tornado warning. Your first alert for portions of the eastern Knox County along and especially south of I-74. This warning goes till 10:45 this evening.
Yeah, Eric, I've got, this is debris tracker, correlation coefficient pulled up here near Haw Creek. I'm starting to notice a little bit of a dropout here, so we might have some debris getting picked up by this. Again, it's right in that same area that we do have a circulation. This circulation has developed pretty quickly here, but right there, a little bit of, and again, this is unfortunately Knox County. You folks are right in between 2 radars. We got Lincoln National Weather Service office, which services Knox County, and then the Quad Cities, which services, I think, just about every other county that we service here as well at TV6. But right now, looks like that circulation is right over top of the Haw Creek area. It is to the southeast of Galesburg, though. So if you're in Galesburg, the tornadic portion of the storm is to your southeast. But boy, that circulation is pretty potent there. Probably one of the stronger ones, I think, that we've seen in these storms today. Might actually have 2 rotations going on. One over 74 here. Here's Route 150 from Knoxville. This is east and southeast of Knoxville over the Haw Creek area, north of Mequon. Notable circulation just passed over Illinois 97. That's heading to the northeast. So I know Eric will get back to that. This other one here too, into Henry County again. I think it has weakened really pretty rapidly, and I think it's doing what that storm did earlier, where you can kind of see how it's fanning out here. I think it's kind of essentially raining itself out.
Yeah.
So we're watching that. Again, the tornado warning does continue on. That storm in Bureau County, for southeastern Bureau County, it's out. So the only real game in town at this point, Eric, I think, is this storm here in Knox County.
Yeah, Buda, Tuscaloosa, you'll likely get a cool rain wind from this storm as it kind of blows itself out. But there is a look officially at our tornado warning that includes eastern Henry County till 10:15 if it continues that long. We're at 10 o'clock right now. You're watching live storm coverage here on TV6 KWQC in Davenport. And what we're getting not only from the circulation of the storm, but we're also getting some pretty heavy rain. I mean, anyone in Composite can probably verify that. But as we move a little bit back to the west here to show you the extent of the storm, now into southwestern portions of Bureau County, south, really all south of Interstate 80 and Highway 6, just crossing over 40 there south of Buda, at least the leading edge of it. Lots of heavy rain from this one, but as far as, again, our tornado warning is concerned, that does officially go till 10:15, but we're really not seeing, as Kyle pointed out, much from that in terms of any rotation. As a matter of fact, that rotation is pretty much gone. There's a little spike right there, but it doesn't look to be anything too concerning. And as we go back to radar, and again, we're talking about portions of Knox County now, which would be just outside, almost outside of our viewing area. I don't want to cut anybody off in terms of the information we're going to give them at this point, but there you can see it's on the way down Interstate 74 toward Peoria. But again, as Kyle also pointed out, we've got a couple of circulations within this storm itself. So as we get closer to it and throw on the velocities, what you're going to notice here, two little things that kind of stand out, and maybe three now. Well, south of Millbrook, that's out of our viewing area, not too pronounced, but right there along I-74, and then there southeast of Knoxville, north of Mequon, we do have that rotation there with our new tornado warning, or latest tornado warning, which goes until 10:45 p.m. for eastern portions of Knox County, right along and adjacent to and south of the I-74 corridor. Kyle?
Yeah, getting reports, I believe it's from an emergency manager. It's in the chat with the Weather Service that they are reporting that they are seeing a lowering in this area here. So might have some redevelopment. It'll be near the Johnson Sauk Trail State Park, which is just to the north of Kewaunee here is where that circulation potentially is. Again, that's we're going to call it unconfirmed report at this time because, again, I want to reiterate something that when we saw that tornado that was confirmed, it was a little bit more well defined. There is a little bit of I'd say a weak notch here, but it would be on the edge of this, and so it just shows you that there's a lot of instability, especially lower to the ground. And so one thing I noticed too earlier today, as these storms were firing up, as they just to the east of the Quad Cities, you can actually go on the river and watch them explode. Pretty neat sight, but you could actually see kind of that helix formation with the cloud. And so what we likely have is at the surface, we have some of that spin happening. The location of that report, though, Eric, it doesn't really match up totally with the placement of the storm itself, but there is a little bit of notch here just north of Route 34. It is actually just outside of the tornado warning, but we'll see if anything happens with that. But right now, that's the latest report from this storm here in Henry County.
All right, and moving that storm ahead in terms of a ETA for you folks out there in Neponset, about 10:07 for that rotating part of the storm, just about ready to get over the Bureau County line. And there's Highway 40 and there's Interstate 80, that interchange there up by the Hennepin Canal Park. So south of that, but Buda 10:16, Providence 10:23, Tuscola High School, Tuscola area itself at about 10:29 to 10:30. Let's just say 10:25. Again, we're always taking 5 minutes or so off of the times that you see on the screen, just in case there's a timing error and just to make you better safe than sorry. So again, we're not seeing the tornado warning extended at this point. As a matter of fact, it's a very small parallelogram at this point. There you see it there. It has not been extended by the Weather Service, but again, on our radar, we are seeing a little bit of possible rotation, and even if this would be an EF0 tornado, I'm not saying we have anything like that on the ground or anything being reported, but you know that's wind speeds enough to cause damage. So if you're in these areas, especially in Neponset, just take shelter right now and get yourself in a safe place just to be safe. And as we go back to regular good old-fashioned radar, there you can see as the storm moves itself east, one thing we're noticing is not so many deep reds, which is a good sign because that means that the storm is likely weakening, perhaps raining itself out. And as Kyle has been talking about, when it does that, it pushes out that cold air, and that's what forms more storms down the line ahead of it with those outflow boundaries. So right now we're not seeing too much more than some heavy rain just south of Highway 6, but again, we still do have that tornado warning till 10:45 for Knox County.
Eric, do you want to take a look up in northern parts of Bureau County? We'll stay with Eric here.
Yeah.
And just check that out. So that storm's collapsing in the southwestern part of town, but hail cores developed, and I'm also noticing rotation with this here.
Right here.
Yeah, this would affect Ohio, Lamoille.
Just north of Princeton.
Yep,
Okay.
north of Princeton there. So check that out and see what you think there.
We do have right just to the west of Highway 26 there. a little sign of some rotation there. Is that what you were looking at?
Yeah, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
okay. And there's a
That-
tornado warning because of it, so there you go.
That timing, first
Let's-
alert right there.
Yeah, let's talk about this. Your first alert, Lamoille and north central and northeastern portions of Bureau County, Arlington, Lamoille, Ohio, as Kyle just mentioned. Let's take a look at the details of this one to give you an idea of how long we're going to take this one out. This goes till 11 p.m. Not only a possible tornado from this storm here, which is just southwest of Ohio and south of Ohio, now moving east a little bit, right along Highway 26. So if you're in this corridor here, you do want to take shelter. Tornado warning out for your area until 11 p.m. Cal.
Yeah, and we were just
Good
talking
catch.
about
Good catch, by the way.
Yeah, and that's the deal with these. I think the circulation's happening when they initially blow up. They form with again, it's 1 or 2 scans, and boy, you've got a strong thunderstorm and severe thunderstorm, and now you have a tornadic storm. But yeah, that rotation at this point, Ohio, Illinois. If you're in Ohio, Illinois, up there, say Van Oren area too, Lamoille, you need to take your tornado precautions right now. If you haven't done so, this is a tornado warning again for northeastern Bureau County. Right now, Casebeer is where this is located, just about over top of Casebeer along Illinois 26 is where this is, that circulation is. And again, kind of the deal here. We go back 1 or 2 scans. It was a little bit more prominent. Still there though. There's still some circulation here just to the west of Casebeer here. West, I'd say just west of 26. If you're in Casebeer up to Ohio, along Illinois 26, heading east towards Van Oren, Lamoille, up towards Mendota, take your tornado precautions right now.
All right, and back to eastern Knox County. Thank you, Kyle. We do still have our tornado warning here. And as far as when it's going, just to let you know, this tornado warning for eastern Knox County, as you'll see, goes till 10:45. But a couple things I want to point out. Not only do we have a hail core here, which does indicate an updraft, but you can kind of see a little bit of a hook. And we'll take this to the rotation right now as we take a look at the base of this storm. And you can see that we certainly do have just south of I-74 north of Mequon, Illinois, that circulation which has spawned this tornado warning. So, and just to give you a little bit of a lesson here, as you see this parallelogram go kind of north of due east, that's where this is right now expected to move. North of due east. So that will take it toward Millbrook, between Millbrook and Broomfield, well north of Broomfield, probably closer to Millbrook over the next few minutes. And there you see the scan right there, which does continue to show that. And as we give you a little bit of an idea in terms of where this will go, at about 40 miles per hour. Well, that's not what I wanted to show. Let me erase that, and we'll show you again with the cone here. As we take this out about 40 miles per hour from that circulation, there you can see that the towns involved will be Millbrook at about 10:23, on the way to Brimfield at about 10:27, 10:32, Monica. Again, some of these towns are out of the TV6 viewing area, but if you are in eastern Knox County and you are watching us now, this will head along and just south of I-74. There you see by about 10:23, so that's about the next 20 minutes or so, maybe 30 minutes that it's still in the county. And again, this tornado warning goes till 10:45. Kyle?
We are currently looking at that storm up here in Bureau County still, and the circulation still holding there. It's not, but I almost, this product that we can usually pick these out pretty easily, almost unusable tonight because the location of these tornadic storms, a couple reasons. We are looking up in kind of a little bit higher in the sky. This is further out from the Quad Cities, obviously, so the further out you go, the beam aims up, points up about a 5.5 degree tilt up into the sky, and of course the Earth is curved, and so we're shooting up a little bit higher, so we're not able to see the surface, but we still do see maybe a broad rotation here, enough to still continue with that tornado warning. Ohio, Lamoille, Arlington, Illinois, maybe another one developing here north of Dover. We'll have to watch that along 34. So anywhere along Route 34 updated there. So 2 circulations I'm noticing. Still, both of them are in that tornado warning though. Right now, just over top of Illinois 26, maybe near Ohio. and Casebeer, and then also from Dover to Lamoille. So we're watching those closely. Before we take it back to Eric, Deanna, right now, if you have to hit the basement, Deanna Rodriguez is actually on our Facebook Live right now.
Yeah,
where our coverage is streaming, and you're talking to some viewers about some questions that they have. What are you seeing in the chat?
A lot of people have a lot of questions. If they can go to bed already, it does seem like it's pretty active right now if you're in Knox, Henry County, Illinois, and in Bureau County, as well as we do have those active tornado warnings that are going to be in effect here until 11 p.m. here tonight. So if you are in those counties specifically, have a way to receive any weather updates. We hope that you're already taking that shelter. A lot of people are asking also about the Metro Quad Cities and even areas up to the north and the west. As of now, we are pretty quiet here all across the area, but we do have a severe thunderstorm watch here in effect until 4 a.m. I wouldn't be surprised if that does change here in the next couple of hours.
I'm thinking we'll probably start shaving it.
Yeah, so we'll have to keep a very close eye on that.
Yeah, and real quick, we'll go over to, I know Chandler, you're on mic one, right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Well, Chandler has got some updates at the news desk. I think good updates so far, right, Chandler? We're not really seeing much of anything in
Yeah,
the way of power
locally,
outages.
very low in terms of power outages. Henry County has 17 right now via Ameren. Whiteside County 12 from the Commonwealth Edison Company, and then the one that I did want to, I seen behind you there, Kyle, that tornado was observed up in Lee County.
Oh, yeah.
They have quite a number of people without power right now. 61 people reporting power outages or being tracked without power from the Commonwealth Edison Company. 61 people in Lee County, Illinois right now. So I guess we'll send it back over to you guys in terms of severe weather coverage.
Yeah, I'll take it from here because we do have ETA on this northeastern Bureau County storm, and you can see it's still holding its own. That gray there indicates a hail core, which means an updraft, and that's one of the reasons why we have a possible tornado. We've also been noticing that. I'll throw the velocities on in just a moment, but 1024 if you're around Arlington, you really need to be taking shelter. Grandpa's Farm in Mendota. And Mendota itself, about 1035, be taking shelter there. Let's go to the actual velocities on here, and we'll see if we can see any spin. Not too prominent right now, but you do see right there, we do have a little area, a couple of areas here within this storm. Obviously a very chaotic storm, so we'll keep an eye on this one. But again, this tornado warning here, that includes Lamoille. As you can see, this one will go, I believe, until 1045. And you'll see that right here. Actually, 11 p.m. The other one goes till 10:45 toward Knox County, but this one goes till 11. So again, if you're up in northeastern Bureau County, Illinois, please be taking shelter now, Cal.
Yeah, you know, and we talk about Lee County, Illinois. Technically not in our viewing area, but we have viewers out there, and we're watching a very large rotation here. An observed tornado is on the ground right now, just to the north of Sublette, east of Amboy here, southeast of Lee Center. That's the most intense circulation we have seen all night. So I'm concerned big time about this. Not picking up any debris, but this is we're bouncing between Chicago's National Weather Service now and the Quad Cities, Lee County's and Chicago's Weather Service territory. But about to cross Highway 30. So if you know anybody traveling east out of, say, Dixon area, east towards Lee Center, and again, this is going to be, here's Paw Paw here along I-39, Brooklyn, up to the north here. That's where that circulation is, west near the Shaw's area, north of Sublette. There is that. It's a very intense circulation. Again, last check here, they did have an observed tornado tag on that with a confirmed tornado on the ground. Large hail with that, too. Back real quick, Eric, back to the Bureau County storm. Still seeing that circulation there, I'd say over top of Casebeer near Ohio, moving to the northeast, but still Lamoille area. Arlington, it might go to your northwest, but still a couple pockets of rotation, not as defined as it was when that warning was initially issued, though.
Yeah, okay, so we'll drop south again. We go to Knox County here, and you see that with our 1045 tornado warning, just a little bit of Knox County left. We're starting to get out of our viewing area, but nonetheless, do want to show that we have that hail core there and some pretty torrential rainfall. And as we move that one ahead, again, we'll give you a ETA here from the rotation in this storm. And it does get out of Knox County pretty quickly, but there you go. Elvis Center, Brimfield High School. Again, some of these areas not even in Knox County. So obviously a lot of rural area there, but as you're looking at I-74 right here, this storm's core is just south of I-74. And there you see Highway 1, is that 80? Yeah, 150, yeah, okay. So we've got 150, and we'll put the rotation rotation on the screen here and see what we can see. And again, that is just still right south of Interstate 74 and moving kind of to the east, but a little north of due east. So again, if you're between Millbrook and Broomfield, if you are in Millbrook and Broomfield, be prepared to take shelter. But if you're in between those two areas, especially, you want to take shelter now. Cal.
Yeah, good news here that tornado warning in effect here for southeastern Henry County. It's expired. So, and look at what that storm's doing. It's doing the exact same thing that the tornado or the storm that produced that large tornado that was warned earlier. There must be something going on here in southwestern Bureau County. It's just collapsing. But noticing an uptick in lightning here into the northeastern Bureau County storm, still holding on to that circulation. So, you folks in northeastern parts of Bureau County, again, that's going to be Ohio, Casebeer, Lamoille. I'd say, Casebeer, you're probably out of it now. Ohio, if there is a circulation, it's going to be right over top of you in Ohio. There have been other indications here, pockets of rotation within this, but I'd say right now the area of concern is going to be over top of Ohio, maybe just to the south as well, heading towards Lamoille. Then eventually here, essentially down Illinois 92, Route 34, that goes right into Mendota. So folks up in Mendota should be taking tornado precautions now. Arlington, you are also included in this, but again, I think that's going to go just to your north. So right now, I guess the towns of most concern, Ohio, Lamoille, and Mendota right now, you should be taking shelter in Bureau County.
All right, and with a wide view, again, we've tried to answer this question as much as we could, but we'll answer it again. If you are in the Metro Quad cities or eastern Iowa, do you have anything to worry about? I do not think so. We can kind of see the back edge of our storm line forming here. And really, it's just a few minutes away from getting out of the TV6 viewing area. I mean, we've got the back edge of that storm in Knox County. Still dealing with our minor circulation in northeastern portions of Bureau County. But in the yellow, you see our severe thunderstorm watch, and that was what kind of took us by surprise. We had a severe thunderstorm watch issued mid to late evening. Then the next thing you know, we've got tornado warnings issued with these storms that popped up fairly quickly. But really, Metro Quad cities, north in eastern Iowa, south, Rock Island, Mercer County, no worries here. I'm sure these counties will start being cleared off quickly. But in Illinois, still, you can even see here south of Sterling, we got a little bit of reflectivity kicking up here pretty quickly. But again, as quickly as these storms form, they are moving east just as quickly. So at this point, we're just dealing with our tornado warnings that happen to be in effect for portions of northeastern Bureau County and now extreme eastern Knox County. And that's pretty much just getting out of the TV6 viewing area. So as we kind of zoom in here, we'll get back to that minor rotation that we see in northeastern Bureau County and give you an idea of where that happens to be. And it didn't turn over, so let's try that again right now. There you go. We've got some very ill-defined rotation in portions of northeastern Bureau County. But again, if you're in the Lamoille vicinity, you really need to be taking shelter now. And as far as moving down south to portions of Knox County, where we also have that tornado warning, we'll take a quick look at this one, and there you can see it coming on screen right now. That's probably one of our more well-defined rotations, and that is just outside of Mequon, Illinois, south of I-74. So if you are, say, between Mequon, Illinois and the border, the eastern Knox County border, you do need to be taking shelter now, as that tornado warning, as we will put on the screen right now, goes until 11 o'clock and 10:45 for Knox and portions of Peoria County, just off to the east down I-74. Kyle?
Yeah, still holding on. This is a very intense circulation right now here in Lee County. Again, not technically our viewing area, but east of Amboy here, due east of Amboy at this point, right about ready to cross the Highway 30 corridor. That's one of the stronger circulations. You can clearly see what's happening here. Reds winds moving away from the radar. At this time, we're looking at Chicago's National Weather Service, so the wind's moving that way, greens towards. You kind of get that counterclockwise spin visualized there, if you will, and we continue with this observed tornado. It's again about ready to cross Highway 30. So again, Highway 30 runs through our viewing area, and a lot of people use that to travel, and so let this storm pass through because it is a tornadic storm. A little bit weaker, there's still some circulation here. Looking at radar, again, it's kind of cycling, but I'd say just now, just on the east side, if not east of Ohio, Illinois, getting ready to cross into Lee County, is that circulation that's prompted this tornado warning. Although we're seeing a little bit of a renewed circulation, seems like here to the northwest of Dover. I'm going to take a look at Yeah, maybe might be a storm, we call a storm merger about to happen here, where two cells come together, got this weaker cell off to the west. And interestingly enough, that thing is really weak, but it does have a little bit of circulation with it. So we continue to watch that. But yeah, right now that circulation, I'd say you're right, Eric. I think that one east of the Haw Creek area, moving slow, but it's still fairly defined in that storm now. That's moving into eastern parts of Knox County, so we continue to watch that. But again, right now, Bureau County, northeastern Bureau County, we do continue with that tornado warning. But for our folks and friends out into Lee County, Illinois, we do have this circulation that continues here. Very strong circulation with a tornado report now. A confirmed tornado on the ground. Not sure what size it is, but we continue with confirmed reports of a tornado. Chandler, you had some new information at the news desk. We'll go to Chandler.
Yeah, we got an email from Adam Lind, who is the emergency manager for Bureau County. He has not received any reports of any damage this evening from the tornado warnings thus far in his county.
Good news.
Okay, that is good news. And as we come back here, we've got that warning that continues for Bureau County until 11 p.m. Storm right there starting to show maybe a few indications that it really wants to weaken. We're not getting any real tight circulation with this one, kind of some broad circulations here and there. And then as we go down to, actually, let me just zoom out and give you an idea of what's going on area-wide. I mean, it's really the Illinois side and almost out of the TV6 viewing area. Certainly with this storm in Lee County getting toward I-39, that's far and away from the TV6 viewing area. Northeastern Bureau County, and then this cell that's now getting close to leaving Knox County, but that tornado warning exists still for a few more minutes as we get into portions of eastern Knox County. I don't know why that happened. I guess I hit the wrong button again there. Let's go out here and we will come back into Knox County. But again, that tornado warning, as you'll see it, is for a storm that really is just about to get out of the county itself. And again, this is moving down I-74. There you can see a little bit of hail with this storm. Not so much lightning, certainly torrential rainfall. And anybody who's on I-74 right now knows that their visibility is certainly diminished because of the storm's intensity. And as we bring that a little bit farther to the west, there you can see that the back edge of the storm not showing much of a sign of rotation, but there you will see what we can see from it. Still just south of I-74, slowly moving to the east. There's, of course, Elmwood, which took a strong tornado hit about 10 years ago or so. And this circulation, we're not really getting any word on what it's doing right now. But now there is a new tornado warning for this circulation here, which is south of Millbrook. And is this just south of our viewing area? Yeah, that's just because that's south of Bureau County. That is in Stark County there. And this goes out to the east of Chillicothe. You can see it on the screen. But again, this circulation, which is moving toward Elmwood down I-74, will be out of the TV6 viewing area probably within about 15 to 20 minutes. As a matter of fact, as we go ahead and give you an idea of when that will happen with the forward speed of about 40 miles per hour. I'm not even sure that any of our TV6 towns in Knox County will come up on that. But yeah, Brimfield, that's just out of the area at about 10:35, and that gives us about 12 minutes or so from here. Anything new, Kyle?
Yeah, I do have something new. I'm watching a renewed circulation here just to the west of Lamoille here along Illinois 92, just southeast of Ohio. So Lamoille, you need to be in your shelter. Again, we've had a history of tornadoes being produced with these storms. Several reports of tornadoes or tornadic activity, I should say. Right now we do continue with that confirmed tornado that was located at last check. It was near the Sublette area. Continues off to the northeast out into the Chicagoland area, but just due west of Lamoille here. I'd say along and just south of Illinois 92 is where that circulation is now. You need to take your tornado precautions. Lamoille, again, I think this is going to stay north of Arlington. You're still in that tornado warning though, but Mendota as well. You should be taking precautions now. Again, it's east of 26 now. Van Oren's another area up here, smaller community that will also be impacted by this. So we do continue to watch that circulation is holding on here. And last thing too, Eric, is I did notice with this too is we have a little bit of an uptick in lightning. It's upticking a little bit, but we're going to get these two cells to merge here. And what we've seen, the history of this with storms earlier today is when they merged, that seems to kind of be when they hit their apex, and you see some of those tornado reports happen when that occurs, which is not typically the case. Usually it's the other way around, usually weekends. But we do continue to watch that, Eric. Circulation again just near the Lamoille area, moving off to the looks like east northeast at this time.
Yeah, and I've got zoomed in on that feature right now. So as we take a look then, what I want to do is show you exactly what we're looking at, and it's right here. We've got the red next to that little lighter color. That would be our circulation. And look how close that is to Van Orn. So if you're in Van Orn or point south on, let's say 26, I'm going to go with my other monitor here because my eyes aren't that good, 2650 East Avenue, and then on toward Martin Street, there's Lamoille, which it looks to be heading right toward. If you are in Lamoille, as you have been hearing Kyle say, it's time to take that tornado shelter now. Take your safety precautions. Van Orn as well, especially south of Van Orn, because that's where we have the circulation. Not the most prominent circulation that we've seen tonight, but nonetheless, it is there and it is fairly obvious. It's working its way right down North Avenue, 2600 North Avenue there as you see on the screen, and then right down Martin Street, which is where it will eventually be, because again, this is moving a little bit north of due east, so that puts it right on top of Lamoille here within the next few minutes. And I will zoom out a little bit just to give you an idea of when it will be toward Lamoille. Hopefully this will come out on our track, because what I'm going to do is give you one of those ETAs again, and this is going to be about 40 miles per hour. So as we engage the cone and get that toward Lamoille here, I'm probably not going to be able to get pretty close to 40 miles. Lamoille 1034. Yeah, if you're not in your shelter now, so let's say get there by about 10:30, a little bit sooner than we see here. Allen Middle School, Mendota area by about 10:40 to 10:45. That's where this rotation is going. And again, really tough to get reports from anything, any of our storm spotters, or right now, because of course it's dark and it's hard to see any of this. And these storms don't have a lot of lightning. Usually at night, when we get really charged storms, we've got lightning to show us where the wall clouds are, where funnel clouds are, where tornadoes are. But we don't have a whole lot of lightning with these storms. We do have the torrential rainfall, but that torrential rainfall actually evens things out between the upper atmosphere and the lower atmosphere, such that there is not always that much lightning. And this is one of those cases tonight. So we don't have a lot of illumination on this. I think that might be one of the reasons why we're not getting many reports on this one in terms of eyes on the ground looking at that circulation. But because radar can see into that, and we can use the radar to be our tool to tell us where it's going and when it's going to be there. Again, if you're near Allen, the middle school there, 10:30, make that your time to be in shelter. Lamoille, 10:30, make that your time to be in shelter. This is coming up in about 3 to 5 minutes here. Mendota, about 10:40 to 10:45, be in your shelter as we watch for that storm to move on through. And as we go back to the radar, again, there's our tornado warning till 11 o'clock. It's just coming up on 10:30 right now. And as far as things are concerned, see, not a lot of lightning, especially that back part of the storm where you have our hail core, which is where the updraft and the potential tornado is. Let's just say spin for now, that rotation in the storm. So again, it'll be really tough to have actual eyes on. So use our radar, because again, that's like peering into the birthday cake to show us how many layers are in the birthday cake, to let you know where the circulation is and where it's moving. And it looks like it's moving right toward Lamoille over the next 10 to 15 minutes, but let's make that about 5 minutes just to be safe.
Yeah, this is actually a new radar scan just came in, and I'm telling you folks, I'd say Van Orn, we've been talking about this for a while. Lamoille, though, if you're in Lamoille, you need to take your tornado precautions right now. That is a notable circulation here. We call it an inflow notch, and it really matches right up with everything here. And we could tell you, this is the beauty of radar. We could tell you exactly where it's at. Van Orn's right here. This is 2400 East Street. I think that's all. Yeah, Illinois 92, also known as Illinois 92. The circulation right now is just, I would say, just about over top of Van Orn, but more specifically along 2600 North Avenue, 2650 East Street. that's the area, that's the junction that circulation is over. Roughly, I mean, and it is going to head right into Lamoille. So if we do have a tornado with this or any type of tornadic activity, it will impact Lamoille. And there are, we got a lot of viewers out there. So Lamoille takes shelter, Illinois 92. Here's Illinois 89, and that keeps upticking there. Look at that newest scan, Eric. And yeah, that's probably one of our more stronger circulations we've seen, at least in Bureau County. Lamoille, though, takes shelter, and eventually here, again, I want to reiterate too, a lot of country, a lot of farmsteads, that is, out here to the northeastern parts of Bureau County, but I know we got a lot of viewers up in Mendota too. It is heading towards Mendota. If this circulation continues, we'll probably see a downstream warning issued here up into that area, but yeah, right now just due south of Van Orn, or about over top of Van Orn, heading right towards Lamoille. Pretty strong circulation here on radar.
Yeah, and I do want to say that on my map here, take a look at where we're looking at that circulation. Lamoille's right about there. Look at how far away from the Quad Cities radar site that is. So to notice that kind of spin in that storm that far away, that does say something. And again, that's why we have the tornado warning there. I will move this up just a little bit because I did want to point out what's going on in Knox County. That warning, for all intents and purposes, is done for Knox County. That hail core and the storm itself just minutes away from getting out of the I-74 corridor in southeast Knox County. So really, at this point, the only thing that we're concerned about is that northeastern Bureau County warning. And there you can see it well north of Princeton. But not only do we have the heavy rain, not a lot of lightning, so we can't really get eyes on the ground so focused on this potential circulation, which is strengthening, but we do have the hail core there as well. So as we, again, go back to our base velocity here, which velocity, as you can see, it's just the direction of the wind. Wind is wind, but velocity indicates the direction of the wind. And as we see that, the velocity of this circulation right here is that these lighter colors, what's the direction? Toward the radar site in the Quad Cities. What's the red here? That's away from the radar site. So that's right next to each other. We get that counterclockwise circulation. So that is right there in the heart of that warning right now. So as we zoom in, once again, we'll get, here's Lamoille at the junction, or the change in, I think that's, yeah, Highway 34, that turn there, that sharp turn to the east. But as you can see, south now of Van Orn, but not too far south, 2600 North Avenue, that's kind of the center of that circulation. And if that moves just a little bit east, or I should say north of east, which is what we've been tracking all night, that's going to be on Lamoille here in just the next few minutes, Cal.
Yeah, and you know, I just mentioned, Eric, before we really started diving into this and noticing that uptick in rotation, we talked about how those two cells, you had this one and this other one kind of come together. Now what it's doing, and I'm wondering if we have a warm front. I think we do. I think we have a warm front that's somewhere in this area, because right now it's 81 in Princeton, it's 77 in Rock Falls, 72 up in Savannah. Look how this is now turning to the east. Lightning is upticking pretty significantly here, and the rotation's upticking as well. It's all showing signs of strengthening at this point, and the circulation is notable here. I want you folks in Lamoille, and now I will say too, Arlington. You know, it's mentioned that you might stay to your north, but now that this is starting to take more of an easterly turn here, it's going to take it a little bit further into Bureau County, I think. So I know, again, this is more of a rural area besides Lamoille and Arlington, but you folks anywhere northeastern Bureau County at this time, you should take your immediate tornado precautions if you haven't done so already. Again, the lightning is ticking up a little bit here too, so all signs leading to a strengthening storm here with, again, that notable rotation. Boy, right, that is, I'm telling you folks in Lamoille, that is a notable circulation, again, about to move into town.
Yeah, and as you had mentioned that, here we go. Let's say that warm front is right here. And what's going to happen is with cold fronts, the storms generally move up a cold front. And what I like to say with warm fronts is they fall off warm fronts, which means this might take a little bit of a right turn. And if that's the case, that storm will maintain its strength into this northeastern portion of Bureau County, and then points east north of LaSalle there toward Dimmick. But again, if that's the case, we're going going to continue to see this rotation. And as Kyle points out, we will show you right here that this thing is going to be right on top of Lamoille here in the next few minutes. So if you're in Lamoille along Highway 34, even just west of Lamoille, west of Highway 34 toward Olin, and then to the east, this whole area here, I know it's very rural, but if you're in one of those rural homesteads, excluding, along with, I should say, the town of Lamoille and Olin, you really need to be taking shelter right now because, again, this actually has been picking up in strength in terms of the rotation itself. There's Van Oren, there's Lamoille, and there it is right there, right on top of 2650 East Street, and then Martin Street going into Lamoille. That's going to be the area of concern right in the next minute or so. But again, this continues to move off to the east at about 40 miles per hour.
We have a viewer reporting a tornado on the ground just west of Lamoille.
Okay, west of Lamoille, tornado on the ground, and that would be, as we've been showing you, there's the latest radar scan, so it's going to be right about there where the greens and the reds meet, so that's just west of Lamoille. Please, if you're in Lamoille, take shelter now as this tornado continues to move just north of due east. So that's going to put it on Lamoille and right along Highway 92 as you go east of Lamoille. Let's see, let me pan that through and get that sign up there for you. And actually Highway 34 here as that makes that turn in Lamoille itself. If you're along Highway 34 east of Lamoille, you need to be taking shelter right now. Lamoille, shelter right now. Tornado on the ground from a viewer report just west of town.
Yeah, right now about a mile west of town. If you're in Lamoille, you need to be in shelter right now. And I want to show something here real quick. I don't want to take away from where this is and where it's heading. And right now, again, as Eric mentioned, 2670 North Avenue. Here's Illinois 92, just to the south of Illinois 92. Here's Lamoille, city limits of Lamoille. At this rate it's going to move right into town. So you have to be in your basements, folks. 2830 East Street, that's north of that, County Road 2750, essentially right now 2600 North Avenue and points to the north. That's where it is between 2600 North Avenue and Illinois 92 is where that circulation is. Again, a viewer was just sent in trying to get some imagery on this, either video or image, but you need to take shelter now. I want to show something real quick. Eric, I think you'll find this equally as interesting. Look at how this has evolved here. We take a look at the motion, or they put this in animation, and you can see that circulation has, and it's getting further away from the radar.
Yeah.
When we see an enhancement as it gets further away from the radar, that's not good. That means that circulation is actually getting up a little bit higher into the cloud base, which not good. That means we could have a fairly strong tornado if this can get rooted. And again, I believe that we have a warm front here. We had that tornado up in Lee County that was confirmed tornado, showed some pretty intense circulation there. That is kind of following its footsteps here. Eric, do you kind of agree with that?
Yeah,
Maybe
I certainly do.
Or something? Okay.
Yeah. And I've got debris here, but there's nothing showing debris. But again, as Kyle's been pointing out, by the time you get to Lamoille, that radar beam is way off the surface of the earth. So any low level, and this is the edge of our viewing area too, so any low level debris ball, which is what we call it, that debris field, would be really hard to see if this tornado is in contact with the ground. But we do have a viewer report that says something is spinning out there, and we do have a tornado. So if you are just to the south and west of Lamoille, that's where we've got things going on right now. But as Kyle has been showing, and I will show you too, here is our rotation. Greens meeting reds, that's right where we have our rotation just southwest of Lamoille itself. So if you are in Lamoille, along 34 east of Lamoille, along 92 north and west of Lamoille, and also to the south, anywhere south and especially southeast of Lamoille, you need to be taking shelter now because we do have reports of a tornado. Well, that's the storm itself. We go to the base velocity, but again, this is going to be making it a little harder to see, but nonetheless, even at the low levels of the storm from this far away, we do have prominent circulation right there, and that's heading right toward Lamoille. And this is moving very slowly. I mean, this hasn't nudged much in, say, the last 10 minutes worth of radar scans. But as far as a radar itself is concerned, what you'll see is that not only do we have the heavy rain that could be wrapping this tornado, making it tough to see, but we also have the updraft indication of a hail core, anything in gray that is a small hail that shifts over to the blue and then eventually the purple, which would indicate stronger hail. Small hail here But again, we're in a very warm atmosphere, so the hail doesn't really get a chance to make much of an impact on the radar because it's melting so much as it comes down. But if you're near Lamoille right now, you do want to take shelter. I will come out here because I do want to do a bit of a track on this storm. And with that forward motion at about 40 miles per hour, we'll go ahead and let you know where this is headed. We'll go right to the circulation, which we can see right here very clearly on base velocity, which is the movement at the bottom of the storm. We'll move this out just north of due east, which the storm has been moving at, and take it out about 40 miles an hour. And there you can see Mendota about 1051, Meriden, I should say, at 1058, if I got that right, and Earlville at about 1107. We're at 1040 right now. So if you are ahead of the storm, just do yourself a favor, take about 5 minutes off of these times to make sure you and your family are as safe as possible as you get to your tornado shelter. Cal?
Yeah, continue to watch this, and also it looks like here from, as we're talking here, I'm chatting with Adam Lind, who's the EMA director for Bureau County. The public safety officials in Lamoille aren't seeing anything at this time. They say the rain just let up, which is not really a good thing when you get to a situation like this. That means you're in the rain-free base, the circulation's over top of you. But we continue, nonetheless, there still is a notable circulation. May have broadened out just a touch here, but it is over top of Lamoille. If you're in Lamoille, you need to continue with your tornado precautions here right now. This is continues to be a very notable circulation over top of town, and that hail core holding on. But I want to watch too, because out to the west we have another developing storm here, and this has kind of been the name of the game. We got to get this whole there's a little boundary or something here that keeps firing up these storms. Could also be just the outflow. Like I've mentioned this before with these types of setups. It's kind of like a domino effect. You get one storm to form, it collapses, and just forms storms all over the place. We really don't have a big system, per se, that is driving this. So that's kind of why it's hard to really pinpoint where we expect storms to happen. But, you know, we got to watch this new storm developing here because there's a little bit of a hail core just southwest of Princeton with this. Not showing any signs of rotation, but when we see a hail core, there's an updraft, and clearly we have enough spin in the atmosphere here that those updrafts are pretty efficiently spinning and circulating and causing some tornadic activity. But back to Lamoille. I'd say right now that circulation is over top of town, might be just north of town here along Illinois 92. This is now moving a little bit more easterly, around 9234. Again, Mendota, heads up for you folks, as that will be moving in shortly.
Yeah, and that storm you were talking about, I was looking at just a moment ago, right on Wyanett, we might have a developing circulation as we've got that green and red trying to converge here, and that's right along Highway 34, well west of Princeton. But that's in that next storm, or that next cell that's been forming, and as you can see here, we'll get that on radar, and it's popping up pretty quickly, as most of these have been doing. And remember, it's these first few minutes on most of these storms, which is where we see most of the circulation. But for one thing, I mean, Princeton, you're about to get into at least a brief period of some torrential rainfall. And back to the movement within this storm, it's kind of a broad, and it's not too concerning just yet, but it is something to watch out for. Again, west of Wyanett, well west of Princeton, just along Highway 34. And as we do move back toward the tornadic storm that we're watching in portions of northeastern Bureau County, there you see right on top of Lamoille there. And we'll zoom in a little bit, and then we'll also take a look at the circulation a little bit higher up, because what you'll see here is maybe a little bit more concerning. Well, that's the wrong product right there. Here we go. With, again, we talk about this all the time, where green meets red, and that's right on top of the north portion of Lamoille. So hopefully you folks are in your shelter right now and just looking ahead for this storm. Again, it's been very consistently moving a little bit north of due east. So there's Highway 34, Old Chicago Road. You can see some of these other streets coming on in. If you're along south, but especially north of Highway 34, east of Lamoille, it's really your time to take shelter with this tornado warning that goes till 11 p.m.
Yeah, I'm here with Deanna Rodriguez, and we were just talking this war front. So you can see this is the dew points right now, but we have wind also painted on here. You clearly see where that boundary is. And Deanna, I'll paint it on if you
Kind
want
of
to.
like right there. I mean, that's kind of where all these storms are pretty much firing up, literally along that warm front. And we are very saturated. I mean, all of that warm air. I mean, the temperature is also very warm, but also all that moisture, those dew points, feeling very, very uncomfortable.
Oh,
You'll
yeah.
definitely feel that, I mean, as you're out the door. But it's more than evident that, I mean, these storms are definitely there we go. That is easier instead of me pointing there along. Yep, so you can kind of see that. Do you have the temperature map?
I do, yeah. So I'll show this because it's got the wind on it, but right there's that warm front. So we've got this tornado warned storm with circulation here to the northeast of Lamoille, or excuse me, northeast of Princeton in Lamoille. That is where we have, well, I got to click the right button here. That is where we do have again, this tornado warned storm. That is right along that warm front. And that's why this warm front, these boundaries, we have to really watch closely with them because that is a focal point for especially tornadic activity with warm fronts. But yeah, Dan,
And
I'll pull up
those
the temperatures.
Let's look at those temperatures. I mean, we're probably going to see the difference there. There we go.
Yep.
I mean, they haven't dropped just yet, but we'll definitely start to see them here in a little bit. But you can definitely tell where that under that warm front is. I mean, you can see there 81 in Princeton, and with those very saturated dew points.
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
noticeable.
it's super muggy out there. So these storms have no trouble developing and
along
maintaining
those.
themselves.
Which is kind of what we were eyeing on and what they were
Yeah.
saying earlier when that warm front starts to move in. That is
Absolutely.
where we're going to kind of see a lot of that activity fire up. And well, it's been very active, especially east of the Mississippi River,
yeah.
Knox County, Henry County, and Bureau County. as well.
Absolutely. And here's something that I want to show real quick is this is something called the significant tornado parameter. This is midnight. And look at along the I-80 corridor, along that warm front, anything that develops along here, we're going to have to watch closely. Hopefully the deal is that we can get this, get the atmosphere to kind of turn over and to stabilize a little bit in this area so we can stop getting storms to form. That is certainly the goal. But nonetheless, we still do have that storm that we're watching very closely. In fact, continues with a tornado warning here into northeastern Bureau County. Knox County, the storm is out of view, out of your area. It's well to your east, but that little portion here of Bureau County still with that circulation. I'd say maybe a new one developing there northwest of Arlington, Eric. You notice that?
Yeah, I did just see that, but to
Yeah.
give you an idea of where we're going here. Now, look at Mendota, of course, there's Grandpa's Farm right there, that area, and that is out of Bureau County. That's a 10:55 arrival time if the storm is moving 40 miles per hour. Do we have an actual, maybe Deanna can give me an idea of how fast the storm is moving. I've been moving it out at about 40 miles per hour. It seems to be really dragging its heels, so it might only be a 25 mile per hour mover because it just stays where it is. So that means that for that extreme portion of northeastern Bureau County,
Yeah.
you see it in the cone there along and adjacent to areas of Highway 34. Really within the next 10 to 15 minutes, you need to be in your shelter. Hopefully by then, this storm will get out of the county itself. We go back to the radar and you'll see the motion of this, and it's going to just show that hail core on the southern end of the circulation, which is now right around or just slightly east of Lamoille. As a matter of fact, so now that I've got the cone off, I can give you an idea here with where things are. And yeah, it's just right along Highway 34. There's the air going toward the radar site, air away. This is now just to the east, northeast of Lamoille, very consistent in its movement, just to the north of due east, right along Highway 34.
East at 15 on that motion, so very slow moving
Oh,
storms.
yeah.
Yeah.
15, wow,
Yeah, yeah.
okay. Well, that's why it's
Yeah.
still kind of a bugaboo here because it is really dragging its heels. And that's very, very odd. I mean, a 15 mile per hour tornadic storm, we do not see that very often. But again, that would explain why it's been here for so long, Kyle.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I'm still watching this storm. Deanna and I are just looking here at radar, and the storm here that's over top of Princeton. Princeton, you're getting some pretty heavy rainfall right now. Not noticing any hail, but we got to turn lightning on. I always forget that we've got this because when we get these types of storms, usually there's so much lightning that's all you're going to see. But you notice here we got a couple bolts here. Not much though. So heavy rain in Princeton right now.
Some hail is starting to kind of develop there.
Yeah, that's what we've been watching. So yeah, I'd say that storm is going to have to be watched again, as we mentioned. We've got a warm front somewhere along here, and this storm here in Bureau County, it is. And here's what's interesting. I think we got a hook echo developing here, Eric. Updraft, pretty notable now, southeast of Lamoille. probably need a new tornado warning here for the Arlington area. You folks need to take your tornado precautions, but we are noticing this. I think it's planting along that warm front. This will take it into LaSalle County, which is out of our viewing area, but LaSalle, Peru area might need to watch for this. Mendota still needs to keep a close eye on this, but a heavier hail core here just to the north of Arlington, northeast of Zeering. We got to watch this closely. I think we got a developing additional circulation here, along with that one that was moving through the Lamoille area too just moments ago. But Deanna, you have an update? You got some new information?
I have some new information on the severe thunderstorm watch. So in northwest Illinois, Carroll, Mercer, Henry County, Rock Island County, Joe Davis, and Seaman County no longer under that severe thunderstorm watch, along with Clinton, Jackson, Scott, which makes sense. It does seem like a lot of that activity is now.
It's good news,
Yeah, and I do. I'll show you that over here. The bright gray counties are where we don't have the yellow, which is the severe thunderstorm watch. So yes, we are watching this line as it forms in the eastern TV6 viewing area take itself farther away, still impacting some areas, including northeastern Bureau County. But as our watch is trimmed off, it just means that our threat for severe weather for the remainder of the night here is ending. Although Knox County still in the watch because you're under influence of a different weather service office, but the storm that was tornadic along I-74 now moved out of the county. Kyle?
Yeah, Eric, check this out. So we don't really have the ability to look at satellite right now. The sun's down, so visible satellites becomes difficult. What we can do though is the radar beam can look up and see how high the cloud tops are, and this is how we know that we have a strengthening storm. The storm in northeastern Bureau County is nothing to be messed with, because now we're getting cloud tops up to 55,000 feet, which is, I mean, that is just about as high as it gets. Usually we see them top off about 60,000 feet at their absolute max. But I'm also noticing the storm here into parts of central Bureau County, Princeton area. It's growing there too. But yeah, look at 50,000 feet right now is what we're getting here. So 52,000 feet. The storm in just moving through Princeton now about to 40,000 feet. So it's quickly growing. Lightning's upticking. But yeah, I think we've got we got this storm that if you're in the Arlington area, that circulation's about to move over top of Arlington. I know you got shaved off of that warning, but the old circulation's up here just to the northeast of Lamoille. New circulation now just to the east of 34 near 2200 North Avenue, about to move over top of Arlington at this time.
Yeah, and here's a look at the track on that storm itself. Mendota, again, out of Bureau County. There you go. But at 15 miles per hour, dragging its heels. So if it's in Mendota by about 11:06, it'll probably be at this speed on the county line at about 11 o'clock. So that's when we might see what's left of this warning come to an end, we hope. But again, you can see there's certainly some circulation around here. Let me just go back to that bear itself. I'll go back to, there you do see the hail core as well. But that circulation around areas north and east of Lamoille, it's still on the map, and now it seems to be taking a bit of a shift off farther to the northeast. There's the green going toward the radar site in the Quad Cities, red going away, so now our circulation is here, kind of taking quite a northerly jump in the last few radar frames there. And as we do move down toward areas around Princeton, yeah, we do have that next storm that's been developing. Thing is, at this point, the radar isn't showing too much organized. Well, now I'm starting to see a little bit more organized circulation right here just west of town. I mean, take a look at that green spike there, red spike there. That could be some rotation trying to form a little more broad out toward Wyanett. And again, no tornado warning at this point. Every time I say that, though, it seems like a warning pops up on the screen. But I would say if you are in Princeton, there's no warning. But why don't you just be on the safe side if you can get into shelter right now. There is a circulation that looks to be forming at this very moment, and that's moving again, just like all these other storms, maybe a little bit north of due east, but that still covers much of Princeton, especially up there by the railroad junction just south of Interstate 80. So again, take shelter if you're in Princeton. No tornado warning now, but I would say it's probably the smart thing to do. And again, this is dragging its heels at about 15 miles per hour. So if I take that and I put a time on that, let's get that out to the west, and we'll just do a little cone here to show you how this is going to move at, again, a very slow 15 miles per hour. just to the north of east. There you go. The hospital at about 10:58, Princeton itself 10:58. That's 5 minutes away, folks. No warning, I will reiterate that, but just in case, if you're one who plays the safe card, you might want to get your family in the basement until this storm passes away to the east, and that will be at a little after 11 p.m. So if you've got 10 minutes to think of your family and yourself, just take shelter, let that rotation pass over Princeton, and then you'll be all right, and we'll keep an eye on that storm near Wyanett to see if that in itself does anything that we're concerned about. Cal?
Yeah, still noticing, Eric, Arlington area. I'm still noticing that rotation. And here's the problem is we're in the eastern part of the county. So this is the Quad Cities National Weather Service radar that does service this area. We go a little bit further to the west now. We're going to cross over into Chicago, which it's a little bit further up. Both, though, still showing a rotation right over top of Arlington, but the Lamoille rotation is the more dominant rotation at this time. So I think their decision to keep that warning might be the best thing right now, as this is doing a little bit of a kind of a deal here where it's trying to reorganize. Again, we're noticing some of that, and that's kind of a little bit displaced, actually, that circulation up in Lamoille, so might be kind of on the back end. Certainly this, though, this is the Hook Echo right here with a hail core to the east of Arlington. This will be into LaSalle County momentarily, but, hey, folks in LaSalle, Peru, I know we've got some viewers out here. You need to take tornado precautions. I'd say right now it wouldn't be a bad idea. It might actually split the difference here between Mendota and LaSalle, Peru, but Dimick area out here, that's an area that would be impacted, but I'd say just to the east of Arlington is that concern now, Eric. Up in the warned area, though, the bulk of the activity, I think, is now still showing a little bit of circulation there still.
It's
up
that
in far
15-mile-per-hour movement.
Yeah.
I can't remember when we've had tornadic storms move so slowly.
Exactly, and that just shows you, today we've been talking about this. Some of these events that we get with severe weather here, unfortunately, they're not. We can't. We can tell you that the probability of things happening are there, like this. Yeah. We said that the chance was there, but there's really nothing more than the prevailing winds that are carrying these. There's not a big cold front or big storm system moving these, so there's nothing really to propel them. So if you do get a tornado, gosh, that's not great because it's going to sit on top of you for a little bit longer than most storms that we see here that are tornadic in our area.
Yeah, and as we look at Whiteside County right now, some storms have been trying to form, but again, they are behind this line here. So they kind of get the idea we should form, but then they realize there's not a whole lot of energy left. So we will keep an eye on these, but as you can see, these kind of peaked 1 or 2 radar frames ago where they had a little bit darker red, especially there along and south of I-88, probably just to the north and west of Linden, and then they just kind of fell apart. Well, didn't really fall apart. They're still there, but they're certainly not of the strength that we just recently had. So our tornado warning continues just for another few minutes here in northeastern Bureau County. And, we'll keep an eye on that storm, but also the storm here that's working its way down I-80 around Princeton, because there has been a little bit of circulation with that. As we get a little bit closer in, let's give you a status report on the actual tornado warning itself. And again, as you will see, this goes till 11 p.m., so it's only got a few more minutes to go. But this storm has showed signs of not only staying strong, but maybe getting a little bit of an uptick as that hail core there is getting a little bit more widespread. So as we go back to looking at the spin in this storm, it's, just right there in extreme northeast Bureau County, ready to get out. There's the lighter color. That's more likely the air going toward versus the air going away from the radar. We'll take a little bit higher up look, and I didn't want to go to debris. I want to go to this one here, and we should notice, this spin is now really up into that northeastern portion of the county. There you can see Highway 34. You go north of Highway 34 with the junction of this northwest road here. And I don't know what that is until I zoom right in, but that's where any of the circulation with the storm that we're concerned with happens to be. Although even just south of that, I mean, look at this now, the one that Kyle's been mentioning around Arlington, now that is east of Arlington, and there we can see, I didn't want to do that either, we can pan this one up, and forgive my line, but there you can see it, a new radar scan. Oh, that's what I hate to see. The purple means we've got a data outage. But what you can see here, there's Arlington, there's the Bureau County line, forgive my drawn line there, but there you can see the red, there you can see the green, so there's likely a circulation right there as well. And that's just about to get out of the county, but these storms are moving at about 15 miles per hour. So if you are halfway between Arlington and the county line, think of being on that road and driving 15 miles per hour. It's still going to take about 5 to 10 minutes to get out of the county, if not a little bit longer than that. So we're keeping an eye on that. As we come out a little bit, we want to drop down to that storm that's around Princeton, because we've been noticing some circulation around there. I'll go back a little farther out to see what's happening. Yeah, we've got some greens versus some reds, so let's get a little bit closer into Princeton itself, see what we can find. And right now, nothing too discernible except right here, again between, and we've noticed this one near Wyanett, that circulation that I was talking about heading toward Princeton, looks like it's kind of washed out, but there looks to be something right along Highway 34 south of 80 east of Wyanett that is still there on the radar. Doesn't look to be a big deal, but again, it's there. So if you took my advice and you took shelter in Princeton, you might be ready to do that for about another 15 to 20 more minutes, because these things are dragging their heels. Kyle?
Yeah, Eric, as we approach 11 o'clock here, just wanted to remind you, you're watching KWQC TV6 News here in Davenport, Iowa. Chief Meteorologist Eric Maitland, Meteorologist Deanna Rodriguez, Kyle Dickens, and Chandler Brindley here. It's been a busy night, and not totally a surprise, but I think some of the reports that we've seen, a little bit of a surprise, including this one, Deanna. This was that 8:58 p.m. is when that report came in for that confirmed, what was considered a large wedge tornado here. This is in southeastern Henry County. Here's Illinois 78, just outside of Anawan.
Yeah, so earlier when this, we got that tornado warning, a particularly dangerous situation. So like I mentioned earlier, I'm pretty sure tomorrow the National Weather Service is just going to go out and survey, what's going on. But I mean, originally it was a severe thunderstorm warning, and then it quickly went into that particularly dangerous situation that happened here just a little over 2 hours ago. And I mean, it was pretty strong. I mean, we were seeing some hail of over an inch in diameter, and even some pretty strong winds. So we did see some video also on social media. Of course, we haven't really seen anything, and we can't really show what we saw. We'd have to pay quite a couple big bucks in order to be.
We could just say we had some pretty well-known national storm chasers that were in town, and they caught the tornado. So that was the report. But yeah, that was what kind of got the ball rolling here with all these tornado reports. That was what started it. Here's County Highway 14 and Illinois 78. That's essentially the junction where that tornado touched down, just southwest of Mineral, south of Anawan, as it made its way into southeastern Henry County. But no additional reports at this time. Eric, I think that is the only confirmed tornado report we've had this evening, but we have had other reports we've had other reports of tornadic activity, but confirmed tornado, that remains the lone wolf at this point.
Yeah, so right now we're dealing with that report and a lot of circulation, but we have yet to get any other tornado circulation. I'm a little bit behind here. I was talking to the family to make sure they were okay, but as we move on out and we get the radar on, you can see that at this point we are sans warning, but we do want to make sure that we don't go out. I mean, it's 11 o'clock on a Sunday. We've got nothing better to do. If you are still hanging with us, you're not missing the most pertinent programming on TV6. So we just kind of, since we're here and we're all friends and family, just want to keep you up to date on what's happening with what we hope and should be the last storm that we have to track here. This is working its way down I-80 now in Princeton. You're home free. As we look at this storm, just want to make sure that we're not dealing with anything that's still, too rotative. But we still can see, some signs of some broad rotation here. I'm not too concerned about it, but I wouldn't, completely discount it at this point, because things have had, if you've been with us for the last hour or so, a habit of peaking fairly quickly, and we do have a little bit of, red versus green here, which is not always what we want to see. Nothing too discernible, and we are getting to the edge of our radar sensitivity, as we always do in Bureau County. But at least at this point, what we've got going for the reflectivity here is some fairly heavy rain in eastern Bureau County, and nothing that seems to be too concerning in terms of any rotation right now. Any word from the Weather Service on any of these guys off to our east?
They are not too worried. Here's the deal. I think this storm, the concerns are almost over. I was just chatting with some folks about into the Chicagoland area, because curiosity really piqued me on why we didn't have any warnings out here. They're worried about this storm here in Streeter, southeastern LaSalle County. But here's what's happened. All these storms have blossomed up out ahead of this activity in Bureau County. That storm that was tornado warned in northeastern Bureau County, it's weakened rather quickly, but now you've got all these storms out ahead of it that are kind of starting to suck up some of that energy. Sun has set, so you lose heating pretty easily, and guess what? Storms need heat to keep going. So we're probably going to see here is a little bit of a cell merger. I would say this though, out here in this area, we'll probably see a big flash flooding risk with some very heavy storms. And I know this morning Teresa showed ExactTrack that showed kind of this area here where we could have seen it's picking up localized areas of up to 8 inches of rain, which we don't. It was so rare to see on ExactTrack in a 24-hour period that we didn't even have an icon set for that, so it showed up blank. But nonetheless, right now the most important information is just that storm exiting Bureau County, but a lot of this activity out ahead of it in LaSalle County seems to really have taken over, and I think the focus is kind of shifting on that.
What about up to the north? Oh,
All right.
Flash flood warning, Lee County. Yep.
Yeah.
Good catch there, Deanna.
Yeah, definitely some heavy rain from those cells as they move on off to the east. Still keeping an eye here into Whiteside County. Nothing other than run-of-the-mill garden variety thunderstorms, and I don't even see any lightning with these. So this is just rain at this point. But right now, I do want to point out that again, it is past 11. So right now, we've got no active warnings of any kind in the TV6 viewing area. Looking at this cell here moving through eastern Bureau County, right now the rain is diminishing in intensity, but the lightning is kind of, if I'm not mistaken, showing a bit of an uptick south of I-80 there, and there's, is that 39, where it's kind of between that and the Illinois River, where it seems to be picking up a little bit, but again, these storms are moving to the east, not the quickest movers, about 15, maybe now 20 miles an hour, because they have grown up enough to be caught higher into the upper level winds that will drag them that way. So maybe they're speeding up. But right now, apart from these storms in eastern Bureau County and the rain showers, I know you're saying, why are they on the air for rain showers in Whiteside County? We're still keeping a close eye on this one because there were signs of a little bit of rotation. And I mean, this night has been kind of crazy in the last couple hours. Once things start to rotate, boom, next thing you know, we've got tornado warnings. But at this point, it looks like this is settling down. We'll stay here for just a few more minutes before we get back to you, whatever we have on the air at 11 o'clock on a Sunday night. Personally, folks, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I can tell you.
Chandler
I believe it's Jeopardy. I think
no.
is what we. I think is that right, Thomas? Oh, it's over. What's? Okay, so it's gray television stuff.
Investigate TV. Now I feel bad because we've overrun Jeopardy repeats, so that's always going to get some emails. But I think you know the story. We're more concerned about strong weather and your safety than we are about a game show. I'll probably get pulled into the office to have a talk about that tomorrow. But nonetheless, as we once again take a quick look at how these storms are rotating, don't really see much of anything that's concerning.
Pretty weakened. I agree with you, Eric. One thing I wanted to show you while we're over here, I was just looking at ExactTrack, and looks like it's got some additional activity firing up here to the north. I don't know about that. I think what we've seen, I'm going to go back in time, it's done a good job with the storms that have actually, not really, because it really has nothing to the south where we did have storms fire up. Great placement though on the warm front.
It sure has that warm front there, doesn't it?
It's got it really nailed down.
Yeah.
But it is having some additional storm activity fire off to the north. We'll have to see how that is. Right now it's keeping it out of the TV6 viewing area. But another thing I was just looking at too, guys, was the threat outlook for tomorrow. And some of the same areas that we talked about today, Whiteside County, Henry County, Bureau County, in another level 2 risk tomorrow. Yes. And if that wasn't enough, if that's not enough for you,
Tuesday.
too, yeah,
yep.
same deal. So
can you say stalled warm front?
Exactly. Absolutely. And so that is what we're going to be tracking here. So, yeah, unfortunately, we're going to have a kind of a multi-day severe weather threat that takes us further into the work week, and something
Yeah.
that we'll be here all week tracking.
I think the next couple of days will be a lot like what today was. We had a lot of cloud cover, and then when we had that sunshine, we were pretty capped here for most of the day.
Yeah.
But now it seemed like a lot of things did fire up, especially along that warm front, and
Yeah.
we'll have to take it hour by hour.
All right, well, tonight, Deanna gets to stay around a little bit later than Kyle and I
You
do.
guys don't want to stay here and party with me?
Well, you know, if things get bad, we will be right back at it with you. But for the time being, we are going to let you get back to Investigate TV Plus Weekend right here on KWQC TV6. Thank you, Chandler Brindley, for blowing off your newscast. Thanks to Kyle and Deanna, and I'm Chief Meteorologist Eric Maitland. Back to regular programming here on KWQC TV6 in Davenport.
Can see